Bro, I swear on God, you on that book shit. This shit's so long, baby. Is that my voice?
Okay, so this is the second video of the series. This is the Operators tier maker. Said I was going to do this in the last video, so this is pretty much recorded like 5 minutes after I did that. I've got a cup of tea at the side of me this time, so it might be a little bit longer. Okay, so we'll start with Ace. I play Ace pretty frequently. I think he's pretty useful. I think he pushed Thermite down in pick rate. I'd say he's probably an A tier. He's a very good operator, especially if you use the right people along with him. Okay, Alibi. I'd say she's a C tier because like she can be very very useful, but it's very very rare. So like she's not D tier, but like she ain't up here. She's nowhere near up here. Even though I actually have a decent amount of playtime in her. I'd say the same with the Maru. She can be very useful. I really like playing her on Cafe and Consulate, but like in the day she's not great. In fact, you know, nah, I'm gonna bump her down to D tier. I love playing her, but she is so utterly useless. Aruna. I never used to like playing Aruna, but I've noticed the amount of utility she actually creates and stops, and how powerful both of her guns are and the secondary. I'd say she's up here with Ace. Ash, again, I think Ash is up here. She's expendable, but she's got 3 soft breach rounds. She can also bring claymores and breaches, I want to say. So she can be very very useful. Bandit, I'd say Bandit is again probably an S tier. I think. I mean, I don't play him a lot, but he's definitely one of the most useful ops in the game. With Blackbeard, I'd say he's quite a selfish op, but he's not bad, so I'd put him in B. Like he's a good op, but he's like cancer, and he's not really that played, especially on console. On PC, I have no idea. I don't really play PC, but I'd say he's solid, like just middle. Blitz at the minute is absolute trash. Like there's so many glitches, especially on console, where you can just shoot to the shield. His knife doesn't register even though it makes the noise. The ADS times were absolutely massacred. The Clash now absolutely massacres him. I have over 1,000 kills and over 40 hours of playtime in Blitz. In fact, it might be over 50 now. And he's still down here. Book, I'd say, is solid. I'd say he's in between these two. He's definitely not S tier. I think probably A tier because he's very good at soft breaching, and he's also very good at vertical play. I think when they removed his frags, I think he was up here in S tier with his frags, but obviously they got removed, so probably an A tier now. Capital, I'd say the same. I'd say he's very useful. Self-explanatory, really. He's very. Well, he's just useful in pretty much all situations, unless they have a my obviously, because that counters him. Castle, I'd say B tier. Like everyone says he's useless, but if you use him alongside with other people, he can be very very useful. Obviously, the bulletproof. They slow people down, especially late game if they don't get in. You know, it's up there. Cav, I'd say D tier. Her ability is just like it stops people from dying. I get it. I get why it's there, but as a team player and as an actual just operator in general, she's not good enough to be up here. Clash, I'd say, is like I don't know, because her guns aren't particularly great. They're not bad, but they're not great. I'd say she's B tier. I can cope with her pretty well. I don't know many people that can't cope with her. Like you just knife her, or you use a Sophia, Kali, Nomad, Gridlock, even Capital. Like she's pretty easily countered. But I'd say she's like a solid B tier. Doc, I'd say he can be S tier. He could also be A tier, but I want to put him in S tier because if there's a good Doc, like I'm not too bad a Doc, he can be very very useful. Dokkaebi, I'd say B. Her passive, hacking cameras is very very good, but her phone calls like easily countered by mute. You can turn them off. Not great. Echo, I'd say he was A tier, but ever since they got rid of the invisibility on his drones, I'd say he's down to a B tier. He can be very very good, but it's got to be in the right hands. Ella, I'd say currently in the state she's in, she's probably an A tier. However, when they nerf her, she could drop down to a B tier. That is my second highest time on an op. It used to be my highest for a very long time, and then started overtook her. Probably a little bit biased saying she's an A tier. She could be a little bit low, but I don't care. So, Finker. I'd say she's a C tier. She's either C or B. She's here because she's not great. Her weapons aren't anything exceptional, but she can be useful, same as Alibi. But it's got to be certain scenarios. Frost is. We'll pretend that didn't happen. Yeah. Well, there was definitely some technical difficulties there. As I was saying, she can be very good. Okay, right. Fuse, I'd say D tier. There's very few maps that he's very useful on, but the few maps he is on, he's very. You know, we'll go C, because the few maps he is useful on, he is very, very good. Glaz is down here. There's nothing to say about Glaz. I enjoy him. I've got the elite. I've got a lot of playtime on him, a lot of kills, but he ain't good. Goyo's probably B. In the right hands, he can be very useful. In a coordinated team, he can be very useful. But if you're on your own, or if someone else is on their own, you know, he's useless. Gridlock, I'd say is probably a B tier. She's very good, but it's not really, you know, something you can't counter. Just you shoot it, impact it, whatever, go round. She's very good, but like if you've got a 1-my, she's useless. If you've got someone, or like, you know, early game, she's pretty useless. Late game, that's when it starts, you know, to make an impact. So she's not useless, but she's not great. Hibana is probably S tier, especially with her buff now that she can choose between 2, 4, or 6 pellets. She is beautiful at getting rid of hatches. Overall, an S tier up. Iana, I'd say is an A tier. Like, the unlimited drones are very good. The baiting out nitros, baiting out impacts. You know, just it can be a very, very useful op. I'd say IQ is, you know, it's between these two, but I'm going to say A tier because there are definitely people such as like Thatcher, Callie that do probably a better job than IQ does, like, you know, getting rid of gadgets. But I suppose she is up here because she can obviously tell everyone exactly where those gadgets are. Jackal, I'd say he's A tier. He is very strong, however, after his nerf, he went from S tier to A tier. I mean, his nerf was a while ago, but you know what I mean. Jaeger, I'd say it's essential to have a Jaeger on your team even after the nerf, and the pick rate shows that it's like above 80%. Definitely S tier. Kaid, I would also argue is S tier. Same reason as Bandit, like, you know, you need an electrifier, so if one or the other's banned, you need to take the other. Callie, I would argue she could be S tier, but she's going to be in B tier for me because the sniper rifle just lets her down. Everything about her ability is just better than Thatcher. Like, it gets rid of the bandit wares or Callie's, or, you know, any electrical device instead of disabling it. But because of her sniper rifle, that definitely lets her down, especially on console. Capcom, I'd say he's a B tier because no matter what rank you are, if you are like, you know, you 5 seconds, you're outside objective, you got to push, you are going to die to a Capcom because no one thinks about it. Everyone's done it, but he's not great pretty much any other time, and like, but he's not down here because of how useful he can be in those clutch situations. Legion, I'd say is A tier. He would have been S tier until they removed, you know, obviously seeing the legions through the walls. When they get rid of his 1.5 times, I don't think it'll affect him at all. Still be A tier. I mean, it doesn't really make that much of a difference, but I understand why they're taking it away from him. Lion, I'd say is he when he was released, he'd be up here, like in S tier, but I'd say he's in B tier now because it's like, you know, you playing Vigil or someone like that. Well, just Vigil. You can avoid the E1D scanners, but he also doesn't, you know, like outline the bodies anymore. It's just live pings, and if you stand still, obviously there's that argument. But he's not useless. He's just not the best. Maestro, I'd say he could be S tier because he can be very good at denying plants. He can be very good at denying drones, so, you know, intel. He can also be very good at denying hard breaches, so if he gets it right, he can get rid of thermite charges, Hibana charges, ace charges, even the hard breach tools. Can also, off the top of my head I can't think of anything, but I know there's other things he can do. I think my favourite thing to do with Maestro is on theme park in storage. If you impact the roof and you put it on the back of, you know, the console above storage, you can see the wall, so you can get rid of any thermite charges and ace charges. Hibanas are a little bit harder to get because they can be just out of reach, but you tend to at least get one ace charge in the entire thermite charge. Maverick, I'd say is S tier, because he can, if you solo, you can hard breach on your own. He's very good at with the team, a very coordinated team, because he can either Maverick trick, or he can get rid of the electrical devices and let someone like a Hibana, an Ace, anyone with a hard breach tool get in. Melusi at the minute is S tier, but they've been talking about removing her angled grip, and in the future maybe removing a Melusi gadget. I'd say she'd drop down to A tier then, similar place as Legion. But I actually prefer her with the MP5. Overall, I think she's definitely an S tier, and I think it's the same case with Mirror. If they remove a Mirror, I think she could be down here, B or A, but at the minute she's very, very strong. I don't think they have to remove a mirror either, though. They could do something like they could make the mirrors only be in the center of a wall or not at crouch height, you know, just things like that. But also removing a mirror would be viable. I can understand that. Monty, I'd say is B tier. He used to be like A tier, I think, but when they nerfed him a little bit with the Clash thing, where he's like, you know, he knocks his shield to the side and he has to move, you know, like Clash did. It's very hard for him to block off doorways, anything like that would put him up here, so I'd say he's down here, but he's definitely above Blitz. Mozzie, I'd say is B tier, because it's very easy to avoid pests, but it is still a pain in the ass, like especially low reloads, like up to like gold. He is very, very strong. Mute, however, I'd arguably say he could be S tier, because he can obviously stop hard breaches, stop intel, he can stop any electrical device. It's a very, very useful op to have. Knock, I'd say, is down here in D. She has the potential to be very good, especially if you're solo queuing or if you're a very, very coordinated team, but generally she's very useless. Nomad, I'd say, is A tier. Stops flanks. There's places like there's a drone hole on bank. I don't know if it still works, I've not done it in a long time. But you can put it above server stairs. There's a drone hole that goes onto it and it stops anyone from flanking around server stairs, as long as the hatch isn't open. Oryx, I'd say he's a C tier. Similar story to Alibi, like he can be very useful, especially against shields, but it's very rare that he's like of intense use. In fact, no, we'll put him in B tier because of the rotations as well. Pulse, I'd put in A tier. He's nothing fantastic because of his guns, but his ability is very, very useful, especially in a coordinated team or on a map with a lot of soft breaching involved. Yeah, due to his nitro cell, and the UMP is still a strong gun with damage. It's just the fire rate that lets it down. Recruit, even though I want to put him in S tier for the memes, let's face it, he's probably with the lack of abilities, I'd say he's probably a C, but with the choice of guns, he could probably be up here. So I'm gonna put him in C. That's a genuine thing. I think he's probably better than these ops at the minute. Maybe Frost. Actually, yeah. When I'm reevaluating, I'm putting Frost in C tier because she can be very useful. But yeah, Rook, I'm putting him in B tier. And now, I am a Rook main, but he's only very useful if you're in a very coordinated team or if you're going to be selfish. Because all his ability does is it gives you increased armor, so it takes more bullets to down you. So pretty much guaranteed down, and the down but not out phase lasts for, I believe it's an extra 30 seconds, meaning that there's more chance you'll get picked up. So a dock and a Rook, a very good combination. But like I said, you've got to be very coordinated for him to actually make an impact. Sledge, I'd say I was going to put him in S tier, but I think it's a similar story to Buck. Because Buck is a little bit better than Sledge in terms of soft breaching. Because, well, he causes so much more. He causes so many less problems. He can't obviously shoot from below. I mean, obviously he has the grenades that Buck doesn't, which is why I'd put him on par with Buck. Smoke, I think, is S tier. He plant denial, entry denial. His shotgun and his FMG are very good. His SMG and his pistol are very good. He's just up there. Tachenko, I'd say, is B tier. His gun's good for destruction. You know, no, we'll put him in A tier. I think he used to be down here. Yeah, no, actually, we'll put him in B tier. He's his 9mm still not 9mm. His SMG's still not bad. His LMG's obviously the way to go. But his ability used to be very overpowered. Now it's It's good, but it's not great. Thatcher, obviously S tier. His guns are great, pretty much all of them. The shotgun can be a little bit, you know, anticlimactic, especially on the attack. I think the lack of SMG also, you know, hinders his progress. He can't be like #1, but he's very, very useful because you don't have to be precise with the MPs. You just have to time them right. Thermite, I'd say is A tier. I'd say he's around the same thing as Ace. Like, he was made pretty redundant when Ace first came out. Now he's on par with Ace. Twitch, I'd say is S tier, especially with the changes with the 1.5 on the F2. The 417 is not a bad gun. The Twitch drones having infinite recharges, I'd say she's S tier. She's very, very good, but you just got to be quite good at her. Valkyrie's also probably, I'd say A tier. She's a very, very strong op, but she's not S tier because they're very easy to spot if you've got a keen eye or an IQ. Vigil, I'd say he's A tier because I'm biased. I love Vigil, but I'm gonna put him in B tier because he's very, very selfish. His gadget is very, very selfish, but his gun is very good. I'm not even gonna mention the Boss G. That's an amazing weapon. Honestly, I promise. I'd say he's A tier. He's not quite as good as Jaeger, however he is better, obviously, you know, getting rid of capitals, gridlocks, etc. He can be very, very good, like, if you position him right, but I think, again, with Jaeger having infinite recharges now, just obviously after 10 seconds, my is made pretty redundant. Warden, I put in C tier. He, again, is very selfish, like Vigil. His guns are great. I do like both. In fact, you know, we'll put him in B tier. We'll give Warden some respect. His ability is good now, but his only real purpose is to counter Ying. And now we're going on to Ying. I'd say she's an A tier because she is a pain in the ass. I don't even need to explain to you. She's just a pain. Zero, I'd say, is an A tier. The intel from afar, both of his guns are very good, especially with the MP7 with a 1.5. His pistol's good, and the fact that his Sam Fisher puts him up there. Zofia, I'd say she's S tier, because especially currently with all the unique passive she has, she's got soft breach, and she's also obviously got the concussion mines. She's got 2 very, very good guns and a secondary with a sight. Like, what else do you want? Yeah, I genuinely don't think there's any way to rearrange this. I could rearrange it to my favourites, but like, do I want to? No, not really. So these are roundabout correct. I think what we're gonna do though is Rook's up there, you know, Jaeger's up there, Ella's up here with Sledge, and you know, like, when we're talking here, we want to put Hibana there, Thatcher there, Jaeger there. That's probably about right. Maybe we'll move Maverick up here a little bit. But that's it for this video. I don't know if I'll make another one of these. I might even release it the next day. I don't know. I'm gonna go look. So cue outro again.
Dripping like a school. Gonna forward school. Baby gonna screw. She funny with it. Cool. V54.